Tim Scott's announcement. Let's play it. Let's hear it from Tim Scott. It came out this morning, Byte 16.
Joe Biden and the radical left have chosen a culture of grievance over greatness. They're promoting victimhood instead of personal responsibility, and they're indoctrinating our children to believe we live in an evil country. And all too often, when they get called out for their failures, they weaponize race to divide us, to hold on to their power. When I fought back against their liberal agenda, they called me a prop, a token, because I disrupt their narrative. I threaten their control. They know the truth of my life disproves their lies. And that's why I'm announcing my exploratory committee for President of the United States.
I think what is first unique about Tim Scott, because he's black, he's able to take those issues in a way that you cannot do if you're not black. And listen, I would hope we were in a political time where none of that mattered. But as he says in his own announcement, we know it matters right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's been called some of the worst names by people just because he is a conservative-leaning guy. I'm really excited about this. I think Tim Scott... He
has an R next to his name, so he's an Uncle Tom.
Right. So he is, 57 years old. You're talking about someone who's kind of in the what feels like kind of the right age for a president, somewhere in their late 40s to late 50s, has a significant record, a significant time serving and being in the private sector. I really like this. I think this is a good move. It could be very interesting to see how this shakes up. What I like also is that unlike a Trump DeSantis, this is a totally different tone. This is a guy, and even some of the other candidates that are running come up with sort of a Trump-style response. Like the way they speak kind of is in that sort of...
out Trump, which you can't do.
Right, and it comes up... a little insincere or not real. What I like about Tim Scott is this is a guy who's been serving for a very long time now, well over probably 15 years, more than that. No, he's been in office, some kind of office since 1995.
In the House as well.
So I mean, he has been in office for a very long time. Is pretty much with us on most.
I think it's because you're 57 in the Senate, you look young still because you're around people that are like in their 80s.
100. But he's been senator for 10 years. So, I mean, that's, again, enough time to learn a lot about what's happening here. Not someone super green coming in. And I like him. I think it's a good tone. I'll have to see how he does, obviously, in the debates and in the primaries. But we know where he stands on a lot of these issues. And he's with us on almost everything. I mean, I can't, off the top of my head, there's not one that I think of. Where there's a big disconnect. I have to go through and look. I'm sure there's everyone has something that's a little bit different in like different ways.
Issues, no.
But the big ticket items,
no.
Yeah, he's with us, and he has been a proven leader.
He talks a lot about his faith, and that in Iowa is very important to voters there in the Iowa caucus, is being able to talk about your faith in a way that is genuine and like off the cuff, not like memorized. I gotta figure out a Bible verse, but I mean he could talk about faith. Honestly, I think better than most politicians I've seen. And he has this life experience which undermines, like he says, the entire argument on the left when it comes to the race. And we know the racial division inside the left's politics and the way they try to divide us on that is something we have to face. It's just reality. I wish we didn't. I wish we lived in a country where it didn't matter what the color of your skin was. But it does, politically. And I think it's even been more supercharged in the last 5 or 6 years. Now, a lot of people are saying, is this a run for VP? We don't. You will see how much of that. I think Tim Scott, you're not going to see him throwing bombs against Donald Trump because you say he's a different kind of tone anyway.
And when you really look at the others that are running, and let's throw DeSantis in there, a Trump, a DeSantis, even Vivek Ramaswamy, they have a bit of that Trump style. I don't really even consider the Asa Hutchinsons and those people as they're not. I mean, Nikki Haley would be kind of somewhere in the same.
But she comes out of America First.
Yeah, she still was part of that. Obviously, the South Carolina's going to be repping strong in this election season. But this is the first.
What's interesting there is, does it divide the South Carolina vote up enough, and then Donald Trump ends up winning South Carolina because
I still think the odds are right now. Again, if the election was held today, we know where things would go.
Yeah, Donald Trump's winning.
Right. Today. So. But what I do like about this is that this is a breath of fresh air. Yeah. This is someone different.
It's a good discussion.
It's someone who will represent conservatives well, will be good on the debate stage. You're not going to have to be that concerned about, as far as I know. And a lot of people, I mean, we're seeing a lot of comments right now. People saying they love him. They see him on Fox all the time. You see him on the news. He's been someone who's been a pretty consistent figure.
With the activists too. He spends time with the base. None of you could say on the chats right now that you can't go and see Tim. He goes to the events. He's with the activists, the grassroots. He does the interviews. Yeah. He's there. And he's got a record that proves that too. I think again, it adds an element to the conversation that is great. And whatever happens by taking this national step forward, at least with the exploratory committee, I think what we will see is we get added conversation. And then whatever happens with our primary, even if it stays the exact same as it is right now, the first thing I want to see is can Tim Scott jump up to in the top 2-3 where he's almost
quickly
where DeSantis is.
Yeah, and looking at some of the
I'm not saying he's going to get to Donald Trump 50% numbers. I don't think anybody else could do that right now.
Not now.
But could you get to 20? So where you are getting a considerable amount of support. He does have the financial support ready, so he's got that part pretty locked in. The second part is then with the actual voters, and polls are important in this.
Yeah, and I'm trying to read through the comments. A lot of people are supportive of him, like him. A lot of people are saying they're going to support President Trump over anybody. It doesn't matter who it is.
Right.
We need someone stronger. And then some comments that again just say that most people though the negatives are I like him. I'm just not sure president. Well, he's going to have the opportunity to showcase whether you think he will be able to do it or not. So the reason we sound excited, some people say, it sounds like you're just endorsing. We're certainly not. What we're just saying is this is a breath of fresh air to this conversation.
Yeah, I think it's good to add into the debates. It's good to have in the discussions. It's good to have on the campaign trail for Republicans. And he will be out there even more now. That's not a bad thing for Republicans. Big picture, look post-primary, having Tim Scott in those discussions, he can answer those questions in ways no one else can on that stage. Nikki Haley can to some extent as well, from an immigrant family. They go after her too for that. I mean, it's unbelievable.
She uses a fake name, all those things.
Yeah, I mean, the attack she got from The View. So I think, again, having Nikki Haley, having the Tim Scotts, having those people, it's great for Republicans. You don't have to all hate each other in primaries. That's not how the system always worked. And I don't think you're not seeing people come out and immediately start throwing bombs at Donald Trump. They realize his stature as a former president and where he is in the polls. But they also want to join the national discussion. They'd be like, they're at the point in their careers where they want to take it national. And I think that's a good thing for Republicans and conservatives to see people like this stepping out. And it's not always to go to war with each other, but it's to grow the party.